You spend 6 hours on a Sunday memorizing every detail of a biology chapter. You feel prepared, but by the time you sit down for the exam on Wednesday, the information has vanished. The human brain constantly operates on a strict policy of energy efficiency, actively deleting unaccessed data to preserve cognitive storage for information used more frequently. This graph represents the forgetting curve. It maps how fast information decays without reinforcement. You can interrupt this decay by reviewing at specific intervals. Notice how reviewing on day 1, day 3, and day 7 makes the drop-off shallower every session. By automating these exact intervals, you stop relying on hope. You build a mathematical guarantee that the information will be accessible when you need it. To understand how repeated exposure builds permanent retention, look at how a local kitli in Mehsana prepares karak masala chai. A chaiwala achieves the perfect brew by repeatedly bringing the mixture to a rapid boil, letting it rise to the rim and simmering it down. Each consecutive boil extracts more from the tea leaves, deepening the color and permanently locking in the flavor of the spices. Your brain requires the exact same process. A single exhaustive study session is the equivalent of heating the milk once. It cannot lock in a complex concept permanently. Controlled, repeated cognitive exposure is the biological mechanism required to create permanent, unbreakable memories. Let's set up that system right now. Open the calendar app on your smartphone. Pick one difficult topic you learned today. Let's use a complex biology diagram as our example. Create a strict 10-minute calendar event for tomorrow. If you learned the diagram on Monday, this event goes on Tuesday. This 24-hour mark is your day 1 anchor. It is your first intervention, catching the memory right before your brain initiates the heaviest phase of the data dump. Avoid cluttering your calendar with every subject you took notes on. To build this habit without feeling overwhelmed, apply the system to just one difficult subject first. Successfully setting this immediate 24-hour trap establishes the foundation of the entire protocol. You have effectively halted the initial decay. Now we strive for recall capability. Duplicate that Tuesday event and schedule it for exactly 3 days after your initial Monday study session. That places it on Thursday. Duplicate the event one more time. Place this one exactly 7 days after the initial session, landing on the following Monday. Change the color of these specific calendar blocks to bright red. You want them to stand out visually against your normal schedule so they cannot be ignored. Spacing out these midterm intervals forces your brain to work harder. You are asking it to retrieve the information at the exact moment it is beginning to slip away. When you look at your weekly view and see those 3 distinct red checkpoints, your short-term memory lock is active. Step 3 is securing the data for exams. Scroll exactly 4 weeks into the future within your calendar app. Drop one final 10-minute review block exactly 30 days from your original Monday study session. This 30-day mark is known as the vault. This final review is the biological trigger that transfers the data out of short-term recall and into permanent storage. There is one primary failure point for this system: spending 2 hours on these scheduled blocks. Do not do this. The golden rule of spaced repetition is time constraint. If a scheduled review takes longer than 10 minutes, you are passively rereading the material, not actively reviewing it. Strict adherence to that 10-minute limit keeps the workload entirely manageable. It ensures your study schedule remains efficient and completely burnout-proof. Now that your timeline is automated, here is the technique that makes those 10-minute sessions 10 times more effective. When your phone notification goes off for a scheduled review, keep your textbook and your notes closed. Instead, grab a blank piece of paper. Attempt to draw the biology diagram or write out the definitions strictly from memory. Only after you have exhausted your memory do you open the textbook. Use it solely to identify the specific details you forgot and correct them on your paper. This combination is effective because it pairs 2 exact sciences. The 137 calendar dictates exactly when you fight the forgetting curve, and active recall dictates exactly how you fight it. You have just built a scientifically bulletproof automated revision system right on your phone. The flow is simple. Learn the material on Monday, review it for 10 minutes on Tuesday, again on Thursday, the following Monday, and exactly 1 month later. If you've opened your app and scheduled your first anchor event, drop a calendar emoji in the comments below to confirm you've implemented the system. Now that your review schedule is optimized, you need to optimize the actual notes you're studying. We cover the world's most efficient structure in the next video on the Cornell note-taking system. Adopting these automated habits gives you control over your education. You achieve high marks through consistent actions rather than the exhaustion of endless cramming.